Welcome everybody to Connect. Great to have you here. And welcome to the Startup Business Strategy session. When we thought about all of the different sessions that we wanted to try and bring together, this one stuck out as a way to give you a sense of what some of the more prominent startups in the community are doing to really move their business forward. So we're excited to have 4 distinguished guests that will be speaking to you about the kinds of things that they've been doing as entrepreneurs and alternatively as folks who are kind of like complementing the entrepreneur. You'll notice that we've got 2 speakers for each entrepreneur, so to speak. In the first case, we've got Daryl Hatton speaking on behalf of Connection Point and the fundraiser application, and his counterpart, so to speak, at PayPal will be communicating to you sort of the complementary narrative, the complementary perspective of what Daryl has to say about the way that he's been growing his business. And the same for the second set of speakers. So it's a bit of a different structure than maybe other structures you've been used to in the past. I hope you enjoy it. My name is Dean Perlazzi. I'm the Director of ICT, Digital Media and Wireless for the BC Innovation Council. Just before we get started, a few things that I want to just introduce you to. Firstly, the session runs till about 5:30, given we got started a little bit later, probably 5:45. And then from here, you'll move on to the second session, which is lightning lessons. In the badge that you have on the back, the session that you signed up for should be listed there. So there are 3 lightning sessions happening after this session. One of them is here. The particular session that's here is going to be called Funding. There'll be 5 entrepreneurs talking about various strategies in regards to how they've funded or bootstrapped their startup. And then there are 2 other lightning lesson type sessions in the other rooms. So please proceed to those rooms immediately after this session in order to get there on time and we can get started promptly. Without further ado, I want to introduce to you our first two speakers. Firstly is Daryl Hatton from Connection Point. Daryl's the president and CEO of Connection Point, 30 years in the software industry. He's founded multiple startups and helped bring one to a successful NASDAQ IPO in 1999. He actively serves as board member to other startups, including leading player in social gaming. And he never thinks that it's work when his teams are such great groups of talented people. So welcome, Daryl Hatton. And secondly, I'd like to introduce Daryl McMullen, General Manager of PayPal Canada. Daryl is responsible for all of PayPal Canada's operations. Prior to his role at PayPal, Daryl was Director of Marketing for eBay Canada, where he helped eBay grow to become the #1 e-commerce destination for Canadians. Before joining eBay, Daryl was the Director of Marketing for Chapters Online, so somebody with a fairly deep level of comprehensive experience in the online world. Welcome, Daryl McMullen. We're going to operate this one in kind of a sort of talk show style. And we're lucky to have 2 gentlemen here that have been building a partnership, and that's one of the main reasons we got interested in having Daryl. Daryl and Daryl. I should have changed my name for today to get things really straight.
Now, right?
Don't go there. Exactly. Now, as somebody I've worked for a number of startups in my career, so the one thing that really comes to mind as a good way to start this discussion is to try to understand what brought you together. What caused the 2 of you to come together in a business partnership arrangement, and maybe if you could just share your respective experiences in terms of what each of you was looking for.
Do you want to go? Are we live? Okay. So one of the things that happened, we got started in the company. We needed to find a way to monetize this crazy idea we had about how we could use social media and social networking to make it easy for people to raise money for their own causes, either personal causes or nonprofits they support or political parties or a school you're raising money for, that kind of thing. So we set off trying to survey the market to find out what was available and was coming up pretty short. There wasn't a lot of things out there. Traditional credit card processing was a big landmine for us because of compliance, that kind of thing. So short stories, we ended up hearing at a conference that PayPal might be releasing these new innovative APIs to make it easy to do this kind of thing. And I set out to go down to PayPal. They had a conference on, was going to try and find the product manager for whatever this new stuff where they were going to release was there. literally walked in the door, got my badge. The first person who opened the door, I said, Srinivas, what do you do for PayPal? And he said, I'm the product manager for Adaptive Payments, which is the new product coming out. So bingo, hit it first off. The point being is that I really needed a partner who was changing the way things were working, and found it in going down to PayPal.
Yeah, I guess from PayPal's perspective, I guess quick show of hands, who here has a PayPal account, familiar with PayPal? Nice, I like it. Okay, great. So I don't need to explain too much how PayPal is or what we are, but I do find it a little ironic seeing the kind of title of this session being Dancing with a Giant, because PayPal, as a company, we're certainly bigger than an entrepreneur, but we've never perceived ourselves as a giant. We see ourselves as the little guy amongst a lot of the payment companies out there. But we try and be a lot faster and a lot more nimble, a lot more innovative than some of the other existing practices out there. And what we were looking for in a partner, one of the things that we realized, we've been growing extremely fast over the last 10 years. The payment space historically has not been the most exciting space, but I think what we've seen over the last 5 to 10 years is a ton of innovation happening from e-commerce, now going into mobile payments, adaptive payments, social commerce, and the like. And we simply don't have our own roadmap and resources in order to build all the great tools that are out there that people are looking for. So we took on the audacious task of actually opening up our platform, being the first payments platform to actually open ourselves up to developers. And the real idea there is to unlock the creativity that exists amongst the entrepreneurial minds out there and being able to help them monetize their creative applications and the specific utilities they're looking for. And Daryl and his team are a great example of that.
It's a great point. I mean, I speak to many entrepreneurs that have great ideas, and a lot of them think to themselves that if they bring their idea to a larger company, the company's going to steal the idea. And so there's always this sort of angst and anxiety around going and seeing a larger company that potentially could be a huge channel for them into the market. But it sounds like, from what I heard you say, is that in some cases, PayPal is really leaning on the entrepreneurial spirit of the startup community to bring value-add resources and value-add applications to the table. Is that a fair statement?
Well, I think one way of summing it up, PayPal as a company has always kind of looked at itself as an enabler for consumers to find a faster, safer way to pay online, for merchants to be able to accept payments, for individuals to start up a business, making it very turnkey and easy to start up. And we look at consumers as one set of customers, merchants as another, and developers as another set of customers. And so we look at what are their stumbling blocks in order to get started and monetize their applications. And it's not about just selling them our own products. It's about how do we unlock their own creativity and their entrepreneurial spirit and tie that on to a very robust, safe, and secure payments platform.
Daryl, have you had a chance to, Daryl number one, sorry. Daryl, have you had a chance to see a large number of other, let's call it pitches, for lack of a better way to put it? Other companies in the startup ecosystem chasing you for your time, chasing PayPal for your time. Could you comment on that, and could you comment on how Daryl Hatton stood out with his application in terms of the way that he positioned it for you?
Well, first of all, I don't know if I'd call it a pitch. We're not sitting here looking for pitches. We're listening just as much as we are talking, and we're trying to get a better understanding of what people want and need. And so our adaptive payments platform is continuing to evolve, and it was around this time last year where we first opened it up. We've been extremely excited at here in Canada in particular. I'll give you an example. I mean, globally, PayPal as a company has about 87 million active customers as of last quarter, but 4 million of them here in the country. Canadians are doing about a transaction every second with PayPal, so very robust there. When we opened up our platform last year, we had no idea what kind of response we were going to get, not only in the US, but in markets like Canada and other markets around the world. Happy to say we have over 1,600 developers already in Canada who've signed up and are building applications, whether it be for gaming platforms, micropayments, person-to-person payments, social commerce, payroll tools, whatever the case may be. We're seeing a ton of innovation that's going on. So we're doing just as much listening as we are talking to the developer community, saying, here's some of the things that we're seeing that we're getting a lot of demand for. We just don't have the bandwidth, the resources to figure out how to build it ourselves. Here's an opportunity to go out to the community. And sometimes someone like Daryl, who has a completely different perspective on social networking than what we would, he's able to build the product from a completely different angle than we would internally. And it's about how do we help him tackle the product that he's trying to build.
Great.
Yeah, just to kind of add on to that, if there's any concern about that, stealing the idea, obviously if you put yourself directly in the path of what that company is doing strategically, you have a chance to be steamrolled a bit. But there's such an opportunity in the market right now, and that's kind of the point of this conference. I see so many global opportunities for Canadian companies, especially BC companies, to take our export-based focus, the idea that we ship stuff out, commodities or technology, and take that out into the world and find something that someone needs and build it in partnership with someone like PayPal. I mean, the company's been very, very supportive, very focused on how do we win together, how do we make the system work together, what does our joint customer need out of all this. So I wouldn't be hesitant to go forward if you have an idea that has value to your customers. You can find a good partner there with PayPal and other companies out there. They need to have us as much as we need to have them in order to succeed in this rapidly changing marketplace.